Mira once dreamed of flying around the world in a hot air balloon. In her mind, it was soft and colorful, floating gently through the clouds toward wonder and beauty. But real life didn't arrive on a balloon. It arrived on an airplane. And when the plane landed, everything changed. She stepped into a new land that smelled like fresh spring flowers but felt like a cold gust of wind across the soul. The wind was long and harsh, just like the reality that now blew against her face. New language, new rules, new stares. The kind of stares that ask without words, "Why can't you speak like us?" Mira had spent most of her earlier years learning this foreign language. She tried so hard, but her accent still betrayed her roots. To them, it wasn't good enough. Her efforts were invisible, so she started from zero again, like she didn't matter. Her first job was at a local grocery store. Minimum wage, maximum effort. Mira stocked shelves, scrubbed floors, bagged groceries, and smiled through aching limbs and loneliness. She took the shifts no one wanted, the cold early mornings, the endless nights. When something went wrong, she was the first to be blamed and the last one anyone thanked. People spoke over her, around her, but rarely to her. At night, she walked home under flickering streetlights, her breath visible in the cold. Sometimes, cars slowed down just to scream cruel words, "Go back where you came from." Once, they even threw eggs. She didn't flinch. She didn't cry. Not then. The pain froze inside her like the wind that cut across her face again and again. In that town, Mira didn't fit into the picture they had of who belonged. Her accent, her silence, her softness, they didn't match their mold, but Mira didn't give up. Her quiet strength wasn't loud, but it was relentless. Mira enrolled in community college to study healthcare, hoping to help people during their hardest moments. She still believed in kindness, even when the world had forgotten how to be kind to her. It was her way of holding on to hope, of finding meaning in the mess. But the classroom offered no refuge. Her silence was misread as apathy. When it came time for group projects, she was rarely picked. The students formed quick alliances with those who looked, spoke, and acted like them. Mira didn't fit into their familiar circles. She sat alone, because no one reached out. Still, she was lucky. When all the others were picked, there were one or two students left like her, quiet, unseen. Mira joined them. Together, they carried the hardest tasks and supported each other the best they could. If others had simply asked, they would have seen she was more than her silence. She wanted to help not for attention, but for the goal. But she never explained. Some truths lied quietly in the soul. When it felt like nobody listened, Mira turned to music, not to perform, not to impress, but to feel. In a world that rarely made space for her voice, the strings of her guitar became her language. Just a few soft strums, nothing polished, nothing perfect, but enough to echo the rhythm of her aching heart. Her music wasn't loud, but it was honest. Each note carried the weight of unspoken emotions through days she held back tears and nights she felt invisible. She wasn't trying to be anyone's hero. She was just trying to exist, to belong somewhere, to breathe without having to justify her presence. In the quiet between chords, she found herself again. Slowly, painfully, she pushed forward. She finished the program not alone, but with a few others like her, the overlooked, the quiet ones who stayed. The ones underestimated by the world, but never by their own hearts. Because Mira never stopped believing that one day, someone would understand. That simply being herself would be enough. After graduation, an unprecedented darkness fell across the world. The skies felt heavier. The streets emptied. People grew sick, and fear settled into every home. While most were ordered to stay inside, that was when Mira stepped out into the front lines of a society she once felt unworthy to belong to. Now, they needed her. In the care home where she worked, families couldn't visit. Some were too afraid. Others weren't allowed. But Mira showed up, again and again. No delays, no excuses. The patients on her shift needed medicine, emergency care, or simply someone to talk to when the silence became unbearable. Sometimes she was the only one. Nurse, counselor, firefighter when the alarm rang, first responder when the ambulance was called. She carried it all. Her body ached. Her soul grew tired. But she didn't stop. During a rare 10-minute break on a 12-hour shift, all she wished for was a moment to stare at the moon and remind her heart it was still alive.